What is up, you guys? It is Zach, and welcome back to my channel. You know, this is I think a long-awaited video. I honestly am surprised I've never done this video before. Well, I mean, okay, I have done a top favorite Switch games before. Technically two, but the last one I did was underrated games, so it's not exactly my favorite, you know, like all my favorite games. And then the last actual favorite Switch games video I did was back in 2018. I think that's before a majority of the games on my list actually even came out. So that's actually kind of crazy. So today I'm going to be going through my top 10 favorite Nintendo Switch games. Now I want you guys to keep in mind, a lot of the titles on this list might not be what are on lots of people's top 10 lists. Everyone's top 10 list is different, and I definitely have some unconventional picks on this list. For example, I don't even have Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild on this list. I have neither of those games on this list because I just like some of the more unconventional games. The games that people don't talk about as much, or just the side games, because the big games are great, but there's something about those other, you know, lesser known experiences that are just as good, if not better, at least to me. So without any further ado, you guys, let's get started with number 10. This game has to be the biggest video game crossover in video gaming history. And that, of course, is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This game, while I'm not the biggest fan of the Super Smash Bros. Series, this game truly showcases what it's like to see a bunch of video game characters come together. You can have Mario fighting Sonic, fighting Mega Man, fighting Pac-Man, fighting Cloud and Sephiroth, fighting Sora, fighting Banjo-Kazooie, fighting Steve from Minecraft. You can have all these characters from all these different franchises on all these different consoles in this one fighting game. This is the only franchise that could probably accomplish this, because we know Xbox doesn't want to give their exclusive characters to Sony and vice versa, but Nintendo, being the middleman that's not really involved in the console wars, can kind of get the best of both worlds. You can get usually Sony exclusive characters like Sora, Cloud, Sephiroth on Super Smash Bros., but you can also get Microsoft owned characters like Banjo-Kazooie and Steve. And it's honestly so cool. It's such a great game, such a great homage to all the video game series these characters come from. The stages are great, the music is god tier. I mean, the Banjo-Kazooie soundtrack alone, remixed, beautiful, done by Grant Kirkhope. Even getting indie game representation with Sans as a Mii fighter with Megalovania, an indie game soundtrack in Super Smash Bros. You have Cuphead, you have so much different representation. It's truly like one of the best crossover games of all time, if not the best. And like I said, I'm not a big Smash Brothers fan. I'm still glad the Smash Brothers DLC waves are done. I've honestly gotten so tired of it, but you cannot understate how truly amazing and honestly, like, once in a lifetime this kind of game is, and it's truly amazing. Next up, listen, I really love the first game in this series, but the second game, it did a really good job, and that is Splatoon 2. I have my complaints about Splatoon 2. The map rotation, you know, stuff like that, minor stuff, the story mode not being much different than the first games. It has its flaws. But the game itself is just so dang addictive and fun. I have fun every single time I play this game. I don't play it like a lot. I'm not like a dedicated Splatoon multiplayer pro. That's not me. But when I do play it with my friends, or even just hopping online with randoms, I have a fun time. You know, you pick your loadout, everyone has their different things. Some people choose rollers, some choose the splatter shots. It just works so well as a cooperative shooter, but not as gritty and gory as like Call of Duty is. It's its own unique thing, and it's one of those Nintendo franchises that's so unique and so inspired that just has so much charm to it. And I love Splatoon. I'm interested to see what they do with Splatoon 3, but I don't know if Splatoon 3 is going to match the hype of Splatoon 2 for me. I really love Splatoon 2, but what do you guys think? What's your opinion on Splatoon 2? Let me know down in the comments down below. People are gonna hate me for this game being this far down, but spooky specters await in Luigi's Mansion 3. Yes, this is number 8. It's not even in the top 5, which is kind of crazy given how much I love the first Luigi's Mansion game. But Luigi's Mansion 3 is a really fun time. I don't want to be overly negative. I want to emphasize how good this game actually is. It has a really good story. The graphics of the game are honestly really good, especially in the low lit areas. The boss ghosts are fun and creative and inventive. The game has a lot of charm and stuff going for it. For me personally, it just isn't up there in the greats like a Luigi's Mansion game would be, because of the small things I don't like about it, being the more goofy, kiddie atmosphere the game presents, the lack of real dialogue with the boss ghosts, the lack of real common ghosts with only a handful of different types. Like, I wish there was more in this game. They added a lot of floors, which is cool, but the game itself, the combat got very repetitive with the slam, in my personal opinion, got very stale. Just not as fun as Luigi's Mansion 1, and even Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon in some instances, because you all know me. I don't like Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, but even I can admit, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon did do some things better than Luigi's Mansion 3. But let's not understate that this game is still really good. The Scare Scraper mode is tons of fun to play with friends, and I didn't really care for Scream Park, but that's just a throwaway mode. Scare Scraper is where it's at. The animations and cutscenes in this game are beautiful and just cannot be understated how much effort and love Next Level Games put into this title. So I really hope they do recapture this magic in the next Luigi's Mansion game, but just make it a little spookier and add a little more variety in the ghosts. I really would appreciate that Next Level Games, but Luigi's Mansion 3, still a great game. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I freaking love this game. It's definitely my favorite Mario Kart game. As much as I love Double Dash, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just feels like the most refined, polished Mario Kart game. And it truly deserves the amount of copies it sold, because holy cow, it sold a lot of copies. And of course, with this DLC we're getting a bunch of remastered retro courses. And that'll make the game have an even longer lifespan. And that is so cool, because I personally love the retro tracks. They're my favorite part. Seeing the older tracks come back is always my favorite part, because the newer tracks in 8 were actually the weaker point for me, in my personal opinion. Even though they looked great, they didn't feel that creative, with the exception of a handful. But now having all these retro tracks come, from Super Mario Kart all the way up to Mario Kart Tour, there's a lot of really good stuff in this game, and given that the DLC is included in the expansion pack online service thing, you can't complain, really. I mean, so many people are complaining, oh, the courses don't look great. They're fun. It's Mario Kart. How are you going to complain when it's fun? They might not look the best, but if it's fun, that's all that matters. At least for Mario Kart, for me. Arg, me mateys, we go on the pirate ship in Return of the Obra Dinn. This is my first, I believe, non-Nintendo game on the list, and this isn't the last. There's a couple more. This game is freaking fun. I can't talk about it too much because it's heavily reliant on the story and you solving this puzzle, trying to identify all, I believe it's 60 crewmates who died on this ship. Don't let the art style fool you. This game is super engaging, super fun. It really has you on the edge of your seat, trying to figure out who these people are. It really makes you think. It is a phenomenal game. This game was actually recommended to me by viewers. It was up on Limited Run Games website, and my viewers recommended me get it because they know I like physical media, and this seemed like my kind of game. And this is made by the same person who made the amazing game Papers, Please, so of course I gave it a chance, and ended up loving it. The only thing that sucks about it, though, is it's the kind of game that you can really only play once and experience its true charm, unless you leave it for a few years and then come back many years later. It's still a really fun time, though, and I highly recommend you guys give it a shot. Indie games like that don't get enough of a shot on the Nintendo Switch sometimes, but I really do recommend this one. Get it and try it. Our greedy yellow friend is back for Warioware Get It Together. This has to be one of the most underrated games on the Nintendo Switch. I don't know why people aren't getting it. Yes, it is different than the standard WarioWare games. But unlike games like the recent Mario parties, besides Superstars, we'll get into that in a little bit, and Luigi's Mansion, they changed the game, but it still feels like fundamentally WarioWare. All they did was make an addition to it to kind of change how the gameplay was played. It makes it a little more complicated, but it still feels like WarioWare, and that's the most important thing. and it's honestly really good. I don't know what else to say. It's freaking Warioware. Warioware is one of my favorite multiplayer games. I'll be completely honest. I always have so much fun playing Warioware with friends because it's goofy, it's wacky, it's out there, it's fun, and honestly, you guys need to play it. The game hasn't sold well, so you might not have it. If you do not have Warioware, get it together. Get yourself together and get Warioware, get it together. It is so much fun. Really highly recommend it for me. Like, this is a ZakPak seal of approval recommendation. Get this game. Alright, so we're gonna go from a really fun, goofy, wacky multiplayer game to a gritty, serious single player game. And that is This War of Mine. I've talked about this game quite a few times now. This game is seriously one of the best single-player experiences out there for me. If you've ever played 60 Seconds, which I really do like that game, and nearly made it onto this list, but this game just oozes in the personality and the atmosphere and the vibe it's setting off. You're in war-torn Europe as a tyrannical country wages war against the people of Pygaran, I think the name of the country. I completely forget. It's a completely made up country, but it's a little hard to talk about this with the current things going on in today's world. It is a little hard for me to talk about this because I don't want to, say anything in bad faith or say anything on accident, but for real, this game is really good. And if you get this game now, I don't know if they're still doing this. They might still be doing this, but I'm not sure. They're doing a thing where all the profits from this War of Mine sales are going to help the Ukraine efforts, the war in Ukraine. They're, donating the money to help them. So if there's any time to get this game, it's definitely now. Like I said, if it's over, if the sale's over, then I super apologize. I should have really promoted this sooner. But if it's still going on, it's a really great cause to donate to. And you get This War of Mine, which is an absolutely amazing game that gives you an honest glimpse into what war would be like. It's super gritty, it's super realistic, and super sad at times. This is one of the only video games that actually nearly made me cry at a point, because I got kind of invested into the characters I had, and I don't know, it's a really good game. Please give it a shot. It's a great one. Are you ready, kids? Because now I'm going to talk about the game that's probably one of the most obvious, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. When this game launched on the Nintendo Switch, it was awful. It was so laggy, textures didn't load, just everything was so bad about this game at launch. But THQ Nordic got themselves together, and Purple Lamp and all that, got themselves together, they pulled it all together, and actually made it playable. The game has been updated many times, and while it's still not perfect, there's still some things that are wrong with it, and it's definitely not as good as the original. It's still a really fun time. I found myself, the most recent time I've played Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, having a really fun time. It's freaking Battle for Bikini Bottom, one of my favorite 3D platformers. Completely rehydrated, remastered, remade, and it looks glorious first of all. It captures that SpongeBob energy with all the voice lines and the animations, and yes, it might not have as much effort put into it as, let's say, Crash and the Spyro remakes, but it still has enough effort put into it to where it's like, this was definitely a game worth remaking, because the older versions of Battle for Bikini Bottom definitely, while they haven't aged poor, they haven't aged amazingly either, so having this new coat of paint on a classic platformer is honestly really good. This game is constantly on sale, and I believe it's even on like PlayStation Now service. I don't know if it's done yet, but like you can get it for free on PlayStation. Whatever console you can get it on, I do recommend this game. Sure, it had its issues at launch, but they actually patched it and made it work, which seems to be a common thing with video games nowadays. But yeah, give Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated a shot, especially on the Nintendo Switch. It really got improved, and it's a really fun, cute platformer, especially if you got kids who like SpongeBob. What's not to love? But Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is not my favorite Switch port. That honor gets to go to my number 2 spot, Dying Light. This is my most recently played game, honestly. Like, I should say the newest game I've played through on the Nintendo Switch. And honestly, it's such a good port. Now, of course, there are other ports like The Witcher 3 that might be considered more impressive, but Dying Light honestly looks and runs super well on the Nintendo Switch, all things considered. It's such a great game. The parkour elements are amazing. It comes with all the DLC, which I actually did play through, both the Following and the Hellraid DLCs. I played through both of them because of how much I love this game, which usually I wouldn't do. Usually I would just play the base game, maybe dabble in the DLC a little bit, but no, I played all the DLC, and it's honestly a really good time. It's easy to pick up and play. The characters, while not being like super amazing, are pretty memorable. The types of infected you come across are really good, and it's overall just a really fun game. I highly recommend it if you're into zombie killing games, or if you like Zombie U back on the Wii U. It's not exactly like it. It's definitely different and even better in a lot of ways, but still worth playing. Get Dying Light. The second game is coming out via cloud version, which kind of sucks, but what can you do? But either way, Dying Light, great game, highly recommend it. And my #1 favorite game on the Nintendo Switch is Mario Party Superstars. You guys, this is the Mario Party I've been waiting for years. While I do have my nitpicky complaints, like, there not being a whole lot of boards, some things about the economy that bother me, this is Mario Party. This is Mario Party at its finest. And they brought back 100 of the best, debatably, mini-games from the whole entire series. Like, they did a pretty decent job of picking the 100 mini-games. The character roster, while I could have used a character or two more, is decent. The mini-games were well chosen. The boards were well chosen. Everything about this game was just well crafted, and I honestly just really liked it. I just really hope they do DLC and continue supporting this game in the future, because I'd rather them support this game than make another Mario Party for the Switch. We don't need another Mario Party. Just support this Mario Party. I don't know. That's my personal opinion at least. But what do you guys think? What are your top 10 favorite Nintendo Switch games? I would love to hear what you all have to say down in the comments down below. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff down below. Hit that notification bell so that you're notified of when I upload videos. And check out the merch store. There's some cool ZakPak merch up on there for you to check out. And I am working on new stuff to put up there. So keep that in mind as well as you check out the store. So yeah, so until next time you guys, I'll see you all in the next video.